The MPs used it could have, or have might be, because it didn't happen. But on articles said CSIS told Justin Trudeau. Bill Blair sent letters about foreign interference to 338 MPs. None respond to his letters. All the MPs are lying about foreign interference. It was a smear campaign to attack Prime Minister and used China and Uyghurs. It claims nobody knew about the fake foreign interference, not even Justin Trudeau. Dumbass Prime Minister and the Liberals into the lies as well. That is attack him and his party using China by Conservative Party, Bloc Québécois and NDP.
She concluded that interference occurred in the last two general elections.
Liar.
And while this interference did not have an impact on which party came to power, it could have had an impact on the results at the riding level. And she concluded that it impacted the broader electoral system, that it undermined public confidence in Canadian democracy, and that it disproportionately targeted and negatively affected diaspora communities, particularly the Chinese community.
It does bother me very much that in the same parliament where I work, some people might be voluntarily or involuntarily under the influence of a foreign power.
Today, they were talking about the amount of threats that have gone way up to MPs like yourself from the public. Just wondering how are they?
The amount of what?
Threats to your person from the public.
It could be, a phone call
it could be
very aggressive. There are times where really I have had outright racist comments, sexist comments from people, and sometimes even threatening language that's used. I've had over the years where my office has been smashed in. As an example, I've had people come into my office to make verbal threats at me where we had to call the authorities. On social media is rampant, as an example. So
last year, that's sort of the area that we're looking at.
It's happened over the course of the years in different formats. For sure, in the last year, the ongoing, anonymous phone calls, anonymous emails, and those kind of things have continued, just never stopped for me, to be honest with you. And then there are moments, depending on what's going on in the media cycle, actually, sometimes that could generate activity in that way. And so most certainly I've seen it in the last year, but really, in essence, though, I've seen it throughout the entire course of my political career.
The push to interfere in democratic votes is in the spotlight tonight with the release of a report on intelligence sharing. The spy watchdog agency says during the last two federal elections, security officials didn't keep track of who knew what, and there was a disconnect between intelligence keepers and the government. CTV's Annie Berger-Oliver has that.
Canada's intelligence agencies consider foreign interference a significant threat, with China a major perpetrator. Yet a new report by Canada's intelligence watchdog says information is sometimes dismissed by the Prime Minister's highest security advisor. The gap between CSIS's point of view and that of the National Security and Intelligence Advisor is significant because the question is so fundamental. In 2021, CSIS and the Privy Council Office prepared reports on foreign interference by China, but Justin Trudeau's National Security Advisor felt it was standard diplomatic activity and didn't pass the information on to the Prime Minister.
What we're learning is that there is a problem.
Because all lying.
The reporting isn't getting to the right people. We don't seem to have an accounting system as to who saw it, who got it. And then there isn't really a dialogue.
The report, which analyzed how intelligence related to foreign interference by China was shared from 2018 to 2023, found CSIS and Trudeau's National Security Advisor had disagreements and misalignments.
There is sometimes a different level of knowledge that can interfere with the movement of intelligence up the tree. There isn't a really strong national security culture in this country.
The report also revealed CSIS was inconsistent in terms of reporting different potential foreign interference threats and lacked the ability to definitively track who had received and read its intelligence.
What is alarming, of course, is that while the government has multiple agencies addressing this issue, they're all disconnected.
But what the report calls unacceptable gaps in accountability, the public safety minister calls a problem of the past.
I think there has been a lot of improvement over the last number of years, and I have noticed myself the extent to which different pieces of intelligence are tracked in terms of who saw what when.
Another deep dive is being done on attempts to interfere in Canadian elections. But in her most recent report, the Commissioner of the Public Inquiry found that those attempts did not impact who formed government in either the 2019 or 2021 elections. Marella?
Annie, thank you for that. Appreciate it. Tonight, officials in Gaza say another deadly strike in Rafah has killed at least 20 people.
The 12-page document. In that document, I also was concerned because I was talking about foreign interference, and particularly I wanted to be very explicit to warn my fellow parliamentarians about the threat that the People's Republic of China actually represented. And in that document, I actually referenced the PRC 7 different times in that document because I thought it was really important that all parliamentarians have that understanding. I was concerned, obviously, about foreign interference. I think we all have now become concerned with it. But at that time,
you brought it to people's attention. You were trying to signal it. Let me ask you, Mr. Blair, how many MPs replied to that, or how much correspondence did you receive back as a result of that?
I actually mailed a copy to everyone because I didn't.
You mailed a copy to every MP.
Every single.
How many MPs replied to you?
None.
None. You sent out a letter warning MPs as minister to all 338 MPs, and not a single one replied to you?
That's correct.
Thank you.
So, okay, thank you. I appreciate that. Minister Blair, I do want to say to you and your team, when committee determined who needs to come for this final round of witnesses on this question, your team
What did they want you? Okay, presumably they're threatening your family because they want something from you.
They wanted me to change my position.
Like what?
That was the
position on what? Give me an example.
So, for example, we had been debating the PRC's genocide in Xinjiang in early 2021. That's right.
Okay,
So
yes.
the PRC has been committing a genocide against some 12 million Uyghur Muslims who live in Xinjiang province in the western part of the People's Republic of China. These 12 million individuals have been subject to detention camps, forced labor, forced sterilization, and a whole range of genocidal activities that are going on.
And the Parliament called it a genocide.
That's right. So we've been debating this. It's been put to a vote.
I don't think this is these sanctions are going to work. In fact, all they're doing is drawing attention to these violations of human rights. There are some 12 million Uyghurs in Western China that are being subject to a genocide. China has built hundreds of detention camps housing millions of Uyghur Muslims simply for being Muslim. It's unacceptable in this day and age, just some 75 years after another horrific genocide, for us to see this happen.